Hello, my name is Sally Joan Messersmith, and I am the author of Awaken Hana. I am also the administrator of a new website, also named Awaken Hana, created to unify Christians for the believing and praying for the reunification of Korea. But right now, on this particular page, I'd like to share with you a person who was a huge influence in my life as a child and then later as an adult, even though I never met her. She is a cousin of my grandmother, and her name is Zola Payne. Zola Payne was a missionary nurse in Union Christian Hospital in Pyongyang, Korea between 1920 and 1939, and she wrote letters to my grandmother, Minnie Rudolph, who kept them in a scrapbook. Otherwise, I wouldn't know anything about Zola Payne. So the first thing that I would like to share with you from this scrapbook is some Christmas cards. And Zola Payne records in her letters how these children came to sing at Christmas Eve at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then they came at 2 o'clock in the morning, and at 3 o'clock in the morning. And she said, what did it matter that they sang the same Christmas carol over and over? And I thought, what an incredible experience to be able to hear enthusiastic children sing Christmas carols all night long. She also records how the Korean Christians had a wonderful tradition where they would baptize their children on Christmas morning, and she recorded 20 such baptisms on one Christmas morning. Now, her scrapbook, her letters, created a love for Korea in me as a child. And in my neighborhood, most people knew about like Japan or China, but not many of my friends knew anything about Korea. And I just wanted to share with you some of the gifts that were given, that Zola Payne gave to my grandmother. These are cutouts, paper cutouts, that show Koreans doing traditional things in Korea. And they were like little gifts. This is how traditional Korean mothers would carry their children. This is a traditional Korean wedding. And on this side, it shows a traditional Korean first birthday. She also gave this gift to my mother. These were made by Korean nurses. She mentions them in her letters. Here, dressed in Korean traditional clothing. These dolls are over 70 years old. And they were my mother's, but now they're mine. And they're a great treasure to me. Well, in 1989, when the USSR fell and Germany became one Germany, I was really excited because I thought soon Korea is going to be one Korea. And when it didn't happen, it broke my heart. And then when Kim Jong-un became president, I thought this would be the time when Korea would become one Korea, because I thought he was young, he knew a lot about the rest of the world, and I just thought this would be the time. Well, when it didn't happen, it sent me on a journey. And part of my journey was that I began to read Zola Payne's letters. And what I discovered was an incredible revival that had happened into Korea, so much so that Korea was known as the Jerusalem of the East. One of her letters that she wrote about how the Methodists and the Presbyterians had come together in a united effort for an all-out evangelistic campaign. And they had printed these pamphlets called The Life of Christ. And they had already printed 900,000 copies. And they were planning to print 1 million. This is what is now North Korea. And they handed out all those pamphlets. And the prayers that went up for this particular campaign, and how the Methodists and the Presbyterians came together and a united effort. That was incredible to me. Also within her letters, I discovered these newsletters. This, at the subtitle, says The Korean Church of Tomorrow. And these are children at a vacation Bible school in what is now North Korea. And I wonder where these children are. I wonder, could they be in South Korea? I think some of them could be. Could they be in North Korea? That could be true too. And they could be telling others about the Lord still, but it would be very secretive. And they would have to be very much on guard. Or could have they been some of the people that were thrown in the sea for their faith? But these letters, they sent me on a prayer journey. And the Lord started to wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I would be crying in great earnest. It was like a gift to me, this prayer, to be able to pray. And I would feel that I was possibly praying for someone who was trying to escape from Korea, or someone who was living in a gulag, or a minister who was ministering to people in North Korea, or South Koreans who longed to see their family and longed to see their country to be one Korea again, and to be able to govern all of Korea in a free way so that they can reach all of the world. I want to share with you a letter, a prayer from a letter that Zola Payne had written. And she says this: "But God is in his heaven, and while all does not seem right with the world at this present time," doesn't that sound like us? At this present time, all is not right with the world. And it will soon all be straightened out. She says it will all be straightened out. This is written in 1935. For he has his promise for his children, and I certainly believe his word is true. She says she certainly believes that his word is true. And should not we also believe that his word is true? Should not we believe for the reunification of Korea? Nobody knew that the 38th parallel would stay there. It was never meant to be. And I feel that the Lord's heart, that the Father's heart, is for Korea to become one Korea. He hears their cry. He hears their tears. He hears these prayers. These prayers never die. For even though all things do not seem right with the world, God is in his heaven, and he will remain true to his promises and true to his word. I invite you to come pray and become part of what Awaken Hana is calling us to. For he has awakened. He has awakened us to Hana, to one. And we can believe for the impossible. And we can believe for it to be soon. Thank you very much.